I've gotten a lot of questions lately asking what were some of the signs that you noticed early on before your mom's diagnosis with dementia. And looking back now, there were so many signs, you guys, that I ignored, overlooked, was in total denial about. One of them being her getting lost, going to and from places that she had been 1,000 times. I chalked it up to, well, she's getting older. She's just not sure of herself. Happens to me sometimes. Bad sense of direction. Totally ignored that. Another thing was her finances. She was always just getting by. That was normal for my mom, really, just paycheck to paycheck, just trying to get by, never quite having enough. But that got worse. That ended up being to the point where she was always needing to borrow money, always looking for help. She couldn't pay rent. She couldn't get groceries. And realizing later that she had been signed up for a lot of things that had recurring monthly payments that were just being siphoned out of her account without her knowledge. She got involved in a lot of sweepstakes, a lot of scams, a lot of donations. She was donating a lot of money to things that she did not have money for. So she was just writing checks. Again, did not think dementia. That was definitely not something that occurred to me. There were things like stories about children coming into her house a lot. She was babysitting all these kids, and she lived in a retirement community of 55 and older, so we knew no kids lived there. She was talking to the TV. There were TV shows that she would watch and say that they were talking to her or responding to her. I thought she was joking. And there was a big one where she talked about someone trying to break into her house. So there was a man trying to break into her house every Saturday night, and he left a knife. And there was this whole elaborate story about it. And when I freaked out and started saying, "Mom, you have to call the police. What are you doing?" And she downplayed it like, "No, it's no problem. I just put the step stool in front of the door. It'll be fine." I'm thinking, holy shit. Knowing that my mom was a worrier. She spent her life a worrier. And so the fact that she wasn't worried about this did set off some red flags for me. Also the children, right? There was one boy in particular she would talk about, and one day she had explained that this little boy spent the night at her house all the time, and he slept at the foot of the bed under the covers, all huddled up down there. And I was like, okay, this is not right. I initially just chalked it up to the pandemic. This was all happening around the pandemic time. We were all isolated. We couldn't be around each other or see each other. I lived far away from her, but still I could just tell that it was not right. So it took me a while, to be honest with you. I'm a little bit shocked at myself because I was in denial for so long. Just made excuses. I just kept making excuses. And my brother, my husband, people would say, "Michelle, I don't know. This is not good. You guys should get her a doctor's appointment." But still, I'm like, Mom's, by herself, and she hasn't been seeing her friends, and she's not going to her normal activities. And any of us would start to feel a bit crazy being isolated in this pandemic. And I think that's true, but clearly there were things going on I just didn't notice or didn't want to. And it took me a while, several months, before I was really like, okay, we need to make an appointment with her doctor. Something is not right here. So it's different for everybody. I'm curious to know how you guys reacted. Did you act quickly when you started noticing the signs and symptoms? Or did you also have denial? Did it click for you? Or what was your point where you were like, something is wrong here and we need to get help? I have some regrets about how long it took me. I don't think it would have changed anything. I think, you know, once it's in motion and rolling, there's not a ton you can do to stop it. I know they have medications that can slow the progress, but overall, you know, we do our best, and that's all we can do. Once I found out that it was dementia, we really started moving at that point and started getting the best care in place, moved her in with us and that kind of stuff. But it took a minute. So I would love to hear about your story and how it worked out for you. And if you're still going through it, what some of those signs are and where you find yourself in all of this stuff. It's not easy to go through. So I am grateful for you guys listening and being here and being so supportive. And hopefully I can offer the same back, just so we know we're not alone in this. That's it for today. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.